Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grow With Us. My name is Evan Barton, and I'm your host who helps create conversations with the innovators and leaders of a growing tech center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Grow With Us podcast highlights the work of community leaders, tech entrepreneurs, nonprofit professionals, and talent development advocates in Tulsa. Grow With Us is a podcast of inTulsa. inTulsa's mission is to connect talented individuals and companies to stimulate economic growth in Tulsa and to create more prosperous communities across the region. Each episode, Grow With Us discusses the growth of opportunities, the growth of communities striving for change, or the tech and innovation that is changing the landscape of Tulsa. On this episode of Grow With Us, I'm speaking with Cesia Brabson and Victoria DeLeon from inTulsa. Cesia is the talent advisor, and Victoria is the talent project manager at inTulsa. Victoria and Cesia share their experiences facilitating Elevate Your Career, a series on candidate readiness with virtual and in-person opportunities to build confidence in the job-seeking process. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Grow With Us. I'm Evan Barton, and I am so excited to be joined by two lovely ladies today that are on my inTulsa team, and I'm really, really excited for the episode that we have prepared for you all today. So thank you so much for being here, Victoria and Cesia. I'm so glad to have you.
Hi, thank you for having us. We're really excited too.
Very excited. It's an honor to sit across from you, and having watched these before, it's exciting to be here.
I love when people say that they've watched it. Not that I do this just for me. I mean, that's the point. It's not just for me. It's for folks in network and all the resources that we try and share on this show. I'm glad to know that it's reaching people in the many ways. And this episode in particular that we're about to do, I mean, we have lots of resources and lots of things to share. So I'm really excited that you all are here to talk about some of the awesome work that inTulsa's doing, the Elevate Your Career series, a lot of the things that have kept you guys busy these past couple of months. But we're going to first dive in to get to know you two ladies just a little bit more. If you don't mind introducing yourself and telling our audience your story in whatever way you feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Cesia Brabson. On LinkedIn, you can find me as Cesia Cruz Brabson. I like to throw that in because I am very proud of my Hispanic heritage. I'm first-generation immigrant from El Salvador, and I came to Tulsa in 2005. So
almost 20 years.
I'm going to be celebrating 20. I can't believe it. Yeah. I fell in love with Tulsa, the community here, the rich culture even then. It's grown even more now. How welcoming everybody is. It's just such a wonderful place to be in as a young adult when I first came, and now as an adult mom of two amazing kids. My daughter just turned 17. She's probably going to watch this because she's a fan.
Yes.
Love it.
And my son is 11. They keep us very happy and busy, and just it's a joy to have them. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you, Cesia. Victoria?
Yeah, so I'm Victoria DeLeon. I am the talent project manager at inTulsa. I can't believe it's been over 3 years.
I know.
And that we were kind of like you were really the OG.
Well, I remember
right?
the day you walked into the old Asimio building, and it was your first day. So crazy.
You were my buddy. Remember, you were my very first inTulsa buddy.
Yes.
So it's still buddies.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. 3 years. It's been an exciting journey. Working in this industry, working in nonprofits, it is completely new for me. I had a long career in travel. I worked as a travel agent for about 15 years here in Tulsa. I've been in Tulsa since, I don't want to say what year. It's been a really long time. But Tulsa's really been my home. I moved here as a teenager, graduated school here, my son is here. And so Tulsa's home, and I've seen it grow and change so much since the late 90s.
Yeah.
And it's been fun seeing those changes and really wanting to be a part of that. Like, I think that was the biggest thing for me, is after having been in travel for so long, knowing that it was time for me to find something different, to kind of start a new chapter. But that was back in about 2018, 2019. I had seen kind of the beginnings of what was kind of stirring in Tulsa, and I really wanted to be part of that. And so just kind of kept my eye out, and the opportunity came up with inTulsa, and it's been a joy to be part of the journey here with inTulsa for the last few years.
That's awesome. Thank you both for that. I think in our personal and professional relationships, like there are qualities that we share. Like with Victoria and I think we've had the opportunity to get to know each other like on deeper levels, and we've had, we had like a lovely brunch for my birthday last year that I like think about a lot, because I was like, what a special moment, like just for, I don't know, we were in such interesting places in our lives. I think we're still in that place, almost a year later, but just really felt connected to you in that moment, and I've kind of felt like you've allowed me to get to know your heart in so many ways, which I love. And Cesia as well, I can see your heart like in the way that you interact with people, your spirit, your energy. It's something that I also aspire to in so many ways, that like positivity is almost seemingly endless. Cesia, one of my favorite moments with you was like truly freezing our rear ends off at the MLK, what was that? The parade this year. That was this year. Parade, yes. You were wearing that sweater and it was like negative 20 degrees. Yes. I don't know if it was negative 20 degrees. It was like maybe 30 degrees, but it was freezing because we were standing outside for so long. But like, you were there. You were still there, and we both walked. we both still did it. There were people that were dropping like flies, and I was like, I think that Cesia is going to stay the whole time, and you did. So wow. I'm very excited to have you both on. One, because of professional and personal relationships, but two, in like the information that you all are going to share on this episode, and then also just the impact of your work. I really am excited to highlight in this specific way, because I think it really gets back to like why I started this podcast in the first place, as a way to highlight, the work that inTulsa does as an organization in this like talent discovery and understanding how to be a quality candidate and how to connect people to careers. Cesia, we were going to remember I remember what your shirt says. We're going to find career joy. That's what a lot of what inTulsa does. That's what the back of Cesia's sweater says. And I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but like that's what we're going to end up talking about on this episode. Before we do that, I think inTulsa as an organization is very much related to this question too, of like your personal relationships with Tulsa. You even hinted on it too, like the amount of change that you've seen in the amount of time you've been here. You as well. I mean, you both have experiences with Tulsa that are essentially long-standing and have seen some changes. So I'm curious, what is your relationship with Tulsa now, versus how it started and how it is changed over time?
I'll go. Like I said, I my formative years were here in Tulsa. And so, moving from, I moved here from Pennsylvania as a teenager, and it was, it was a big change as a 15, 16-year-old. And so just being able to open up and experience what the city offered at that time. It was like, bells and the water park and just going Friday night drives and things like that. It's so different now. And, but being able to kind of build my foundation, establish those roots here, and have so many chapters of discovering who I am, it has been part of being in Tulsa, really. It's like the people that I've met along the way, people like you and people in Tulsa really have been such an important part of that journey. And I always tell my son, he's 22, that he's so lucky to have Tulsa, like to be able to experience all that Tulsa has to offer at his age, that he can go out and enjoy and have fun and take advantage. That those are things that really weren't there when I was his age. And so I love that, there's always like festivals and markets and great new restaurants and pop-ups that we can go take advantage of. And there's always something to explore and learn about Tulsa that, you just never knew before. I mean, growing up here, as a teenager, I didn't know a lot about what Tulsa had to offer, the history of Tulsa. And so really that's been an education for me, honestly, over the last few years. And so it's just really led to a different level of understanding and appreciation and, it really becoming a true like home and place for me. So
that's awesome. I love that. And you, Cesia?
Yeah, so for me, it's been very interesting because although I moved here with work almost 20 years ago, I've been in corporate America for most of that time.
Yeah.
This is the first time I step out of corporate America. And so in my roles, I was supporting beyond Tulsa. There were some roles where I was supporting local offices, local large offices in an HR capacity.
Yeah.
But there, over the past few years, it became more of a larger geographical area to the point of supporting the rest of the U.S., Canada, Mexico in recruiting efforts or HR efforts. And one of the things I missed, which brought me to Tulsa, was being connected to the community here and support my local community. It's really different when you help somebody that's you're never going to meet in person and you only see them virtually. So you miss that human connection piece of it. So when I found myself looking for work because my employer at the time needed me to move to Dallas in order to retain my role, they were very generous in giving me time to look. inTulsa found me on LinkedIn. We're going to talk about LinkedIn. So I'm a huge proponent. Keep your LinkedIn profile updated because you never know who can find you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
inTulsa found me. And they, as I researched it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything I love to do in my work right now. Plus, I get to come back and support local community in Tulsa and then be supportive of those coming back, those that are interested in. So many people are interested in moving to Tulsa and have moved to Tulsa over the past few years. And just like me, we're super welcoming of them. So we're happy to have them. So, yeah. And then my relationship with Tulsa now has evolved even more because I'm connected from a mom perspective. Like there is a lot to do. And there is, even though it's still considered a smaller metropolitan area, my kids can still be involved in all of their extracurriculars and have opportunities, but still have access to those opportunities where in bigger communities, maybe they wouldn't make the cut. But here it's been a joy to get connected to the sporting community. My son plays baseball. My daughter plays music and is super involved in a lot of musical things. So it's really exciting.
That is really exciting. Yeah, I think you both, in different ways, kind of represent the mission of inTulsa in terms of like, for you, Victoria, I feel like stepping into this career has been like you said, a career shift for you, but being able to grow and blossom into that has been, I think, something that like our organization really supports in many ways through connecting to upskilling or even connecting you to that new career. So love that. And then Cesia, like you having this career in, HR support and staffing, understanding like, I have this like long-standing career in it, but it's time to use those skills in a new way. And I think that's really cool to see both of you kind of representing the story that you now essentially perpetuate with your candidates. And so I think it makes you some of the best representatives of the type of work that you do because you have those stories. So that's really, really awesome.
And we both know what it's like to be on the other side of that, of the table, of the situation. So.
Absolutely. So next, I really want to kind of get into really everything that inTulsa's been doing these past couple of months, really specifically regarding candidate readiness. inTulsa launched the Elevate Your Career series, of which you both have had a heavy hand in planning, executing, and strategizing. And can you share with our audience, how the Elevate Your Career series has been structured and your desired outcomes? Just give me a little bit more about it.
Really, it started out of seeing the needs of our candidates and really being able to scale our offerings. We need to be able to meet candidates where they are, but also address their most pressing issues when it comes to finding resources to help them in their job search. And so we did some research last year or even the year before that, and just really connecting with candidates to learn what is important to you in your career journey. Like, what are some of the things that you need would empower you to find the job of your career of your dreams, not just a job, but like an actual career. And so we found that, people need help with their resumes. People need help with their LinkedIn, optimizing that so that the right company can find you and you can connect and network and build your network. But also for people who are looking to pivot their career, what is that first step? What are some actual action items that we can take, that we can offer you to help you make those next steps, to figure out what's next for you in your career? And just really building a program out of that based on the feedback that we received from our candidates. Yeah. And, for us, candidates are people who are looking for a new job. Maybe they are passively looking. It's just kind of something on their radar that they want to eventually think about what's next for them in their career. People who are looking to completely change industries or roles. People who are just, they want to make sure that their resume stays active. So they want to be informed about what's current, what's important, what do I need to do right now so that if an opportunity should arise, I'm ready. And whether that's, with a new job altogether or even growing in their current position with their current company. So the people that we are hoping to attract to these events and workshops are early career, people who are maybe just out of college and they're looking for tools and resources to help them get their foot in the door. But I would say the majority of our events are really targeted for mid to late career professionals, people who, again, are just looking for that next big step, that next opportunity. And so the types of events that we have been putting on, the workshops and events, are, yes, focused on resume, LinkedIn, and offering those types of resources, but also connections and making sure that they know there are opportunities in Tulsa, and this is how you can get your, here are some resources, here are some connection points. We've had a couple of events that have been focused on project management. We have an upcoming event that's focused on marketers.
Yes, we'll be there.
I'm so excited to have you. Yeah, it's going to be great. And so we have local experts who are coming to speak with people and kind of share their journey, what opportunities are here in Tulsa, what are steps that they can take to maybe get that next certification. Yeah. Because it's not about necessarily education. It's like, what are certification options? What are some other resources or simply classes that you can take online, LinkedIn, learning, things like that maybe people didn't know about? Yeah. I do have to say one resource that I think is really cool that maybe people didn't know about that we learned over the process of doing this is that if you have a Tulsa library card, you can go onto LinkedIn Learning for free. And I think that's an amazing resource that we have discovered over the past couple of months. So things like that. We want to make sure people have access to those resources. And again, knowing how it feels to be looking for a job and not really knowing where do I start. And it can be really discouraging when you're applying to places over and over and nothing's sticking, nothing's landing. And so we want to give you those tangible steps and answer those questions to help you focus in and create a good strategy.
Absolutely. There's so many things to touch on here. I think the one thing I want to add in here is like the importance of resource navigation and having someone to help you through that is something that that's the value that I've found. Really, like my career has really been focused on that. Like, how do you connect people to an opportunity or to a resource that can connect them to an opportunity? Yeah. And then how do you like even broach that opportunity to them, like through social media, through word of mouth, a personal connection? There's so many ways that people can find out about the resources themselves, but then how do you navigate those resources is really what I feel like you all are here for specifically. And kind of we and Network are really here to help people do. So there's that. One, you touched on a really, really important resource. Like, do you know that you have access to free LinkedIn Learning if you have a library card, which is another thing you can get for free, essentially, also. That's like, if you were to use it every single month for 1 year, that's saving you like $180, and you're getting certifications along the way, like certifications that, from your experience, employers will look at and validate through their candidate search process, essentially. So not just this is the resource, but this is how you get the best use out of these resources. I think another layer to this.
Yeah, and connectivity too. We understand that through our programs and our offerings of events and webinars. People meet each other, and not only, even if they don't connect, which the goal is for people to find connection as well, but it also helps them feel like they're not alone in this job search. So we've done a lot of events where it's open to anybody job searching or anybody seeking to just prepare for the next level of their career, to just, save them a lot of time in doing the research. I think we do a really great job, our team. And I know we're usually the face of the events, because either I'm presenting, we're co-facilitating, or she's behind the scenes doing all the chatting on the webinars. But there's a whole team that is supporting us as well, that is bringing all these events, keeping them organized and bringing them to life. Yeah. So one thing that, especially for job seekers that are active job seekers. So the difference is somebody that knows their job is about to end, or they've already been laid off, or the last straw has just hit them.
Exactly.
And I think as we grow in our career, I think we've all experienced one or all of those.
Absolutely.
So I know I have in a lot of cases, and it's like, where do you even start? You want to start applying immediately. Yeah. But the time you take to prepare to be that really noticeable, desirable candidate, and how to do that is one thing that we try to bring to our sessions, as well as save people time and guesswork, because there's a lot out there right now. Technology has enhanced our ability to share information. Sometimes the information is incorrect, and so we weed through that and we say, you may have heard that you should do this on your resume. There's some pretty interesting practices that are incorrect. Like if it feels unethical, if it feels like questionable, but you can also come to our sessions. We address a lot of them. But it saves a lot of time, and they're very accessible. We try to meet every type of audience, including we started doing webinars this year, which is phenomenal. It's a really great and easy way for us to put out content. It takes an hour. It's a lunch hour. We've set the cadence this year to every second Tuesday of the month. So if you have our link, log in, go to our events page, and you'll see what we have available. But it makes it so accessible. But also, if you want to make connection and be in person, we have in-person events that are very specifically targeted for, like the marketing event that we've had, we have coming up. We've had a project manager event in the past where it's like similarly skilled, like-minded. We're in the same community. We're in this, niche moment in Tulsa. Yeah. And we can not only network, but support each other and learn from each other. And so we're trying to create that, which is a concept called building social capital.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which it's beyond networking, right? So by definition, social capital is networks of relationships among people who live and work in a particular society, enabling that society to function effectively. Yeah. And I would add, enabling that society to also thrive. Yeah. And that's one thing that we need to be able to have accessibility to that across all income, all
background,
yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
So hitting the nail on the head there for sure.
Yeah, and I think we're doing a phenomenal job. We like to get survey feedback, so our feedback is pretty good. But we've also evolved our program as a result of that.
That's awesome. And I think one thing to just note on the top, it's free.
Yes. Important.
It's free.
It's free. And you also like obviously mentioned the target audience and who that is, but I in some ways that accessibility piece comes back to it's free. It's available to you if you're even curious about it, remotely curious about it. There's the accessibility of it being online if you don't want to take that step to be in person. But if you're ready to take that step, you could be in person and be in network with those people. And it's free. So one thing I wanted to touch on really quickly before moving to the next question was, I think you touched on the time optimization piece as like that's a really important thing for folks at technology. Like you said, it's meant to optimize our time, but in so many ways, it can also be the biggest barrier to it. Formatting a resume sometimes like the most painstaking process. And so to find a template or to be provided a template that works is something that can really just like save you so much time. Also filtering through the amount of jobs that there are out there. Oh my goodness. Like I think just through working at inTulsa and understanding, how people need or many people want someone to help them through this process because doing it alone is really hard. I've done searches for people where I'm like, okay, well, this is your resume. Let's go on LinkedIn and look. And I'm like, there are it's a rabbit hole essentially of opportunities. And so depending on what skill level you're at and where you're at in your career too, I think inTulsa obviously has a really strong and healthy job board that might help you filter down to certain things quicker, faster, easier. Whether it's hybrid remote, whether it's in Tulsa or that company is based remotely. Obviously, the specific job category that it's in, you do a lot of that legwork, like you said, that is built on time optimization for the candidate. So, just wanted to plug that.
Yeah, and I want to kind of talking about that time optimization in something that Cesia said earlier about having a strategy, and it's important to take some time to really figure out your strategy.
Yeah.
There are a lot of jobs out there, and it's hard to figure out when you're seeing all these things and you're thinking, oh, I could do that. But really, what is going to play to your strengths? What are you going to have passion about? What are you going to enjoy doing, and where can you add value?
Yeah.
And so taking the time to really figure out and having that self-awareness, okay, here are my strengths. And we do have, I'm going to plug one of our workshops that we've done is the knowing your strengths using the predictive index. And once you kind of have an idea of these are my strengths, and you can look through the job description and get a really clear understanding of what this type of role is asking and what kind of person it's really looking for, then you can really say, yes, this is a match, and I know I'd be great at this. And you won't feel so discouraged when you're not hearing back. And, that's a whole other topic. But I just would say, take a little bit of time, come to one of our workshops, and really create that strategy, including customizing your resume and all of the things.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, imagine you like spend 30 to 45 minutes applying to that job, and then you didn't put your best foot forward, or for whatever reason, you didn't customize your resume. The CRM or the ATS had something that filtered it out, or for whatever reason, but you felt like it was your best foot forward, and you don't know why. It kind of keeps you're a wheel spinning. And so taking that time at the beginning, like you said, is kind of a way that you can. Y'all are better at explaining that than me, but like in so many ways, you get to, I think, just be more intentional in the search, which is really where it comes down to. So my next question for you all is, I'd love for you to share any moments or interactions that you've had with folks from these events where it was like an aha moment, or you realized that this was reaching the right person at the right time. Have you had any of those moments at your workshops with Elevate Your Career?
Yeah, I'd have to go all the way back to spring and start with our first event. It was a very rainy morning, and there were sirens going off that morning, and we were like, I don't even know if people are going to come, right? But people came. They lined up to come into the door. It was a networking event, and so we brought several of our other community partners that support job seekers in some way.
Yeah.
Job seekers or people that are looking to certify in a different area, or we offered free headshots, and it was such a phenomenal event, and it connected not only people to resources but to each other.
Yeah.
And there was just such great energy in the room, and that kickoff event was like, wow, we're really making a difference and supporting people where they're at, and helping them find and get access to a lot of different options that are available. But throughout the event, one of the things that we do consistently every month is a webinar. And so with webinars, it's really easy because you don't have to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go off mute. You're there to just soak in the information. But for those of us that do like to be heard and want to engage, we have an very active chat going on, and there's always somebody behind the scenes like Victoria responding and engaging. And it's so encouraging to me to see people react with emojis or place comments, or even after the event, give us like comments on the session, or better yet, on the survey.
Mm-hmm.
A quick tangent on surveys. I'm a huge proponent of surveys. When people send me a survey, I fill out a survey.
I'm the same way. As someone that
Because
sends out surveys, I'm like, yes, I will fill it out.
yes, it's so valuable.
Yeah.
And we've been able to not only keep what's working in our sessions, because we know it's important
Mm-hmm.
to those out there. 'Cause sometimes we want, there's only so much you can do in an hour worth of time, and you want to share all of it, right? But you want to share what's most relevant. So as we reevaluate our content, because of feedback, we have kept things that are really making impact. And we've modified things that, we didn't used to do a monthly resume revamp session, and that came up. Mm-hmm. We've had to really reshift and modify how people think of resumes, and move them away from, okay, we're no longer using Word document templates or Google document templates. There's greater resources that are there to help you submit resumes that the applicant tracking system will be able to read and will be able to rank appropriately. So we weren't doing the LinkedIn sessions before, and through feedback that kept coming up, like we need something for LinkedIn. There's other LinkedIn events that are available, and they're geared towards you optimizing your LinkedIn, but ours is very unique in the sense that it's for you to prepare for the next role, to be noticed. It's for job seekers that are either active, like I mentioned before. I forgot to mention passive seekers is when you're in a role, but you know that the next opportunity might not be within your company, or maybe even you work at a very large company where you do have to submit an application process and go through the interview process. So you're preparing for that next level.
Yeah.
And so all of that has come back from really great interactions, and then speaking with candidates before and after events has really given us good insight that it's valuable and it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just goes back to, we again, saying that people just need to know where to start. They need that. It's kind of like lifeline's a strong word, but
a nudge.
A nudge, right? Ultimately you are the driver of your experience, but having the place to start and the people who can provide those resources and encouragement, because it can be so overwhelming and frustrating. So I know some of the feedback that we've gotten has been really, thank you for sharing these tools. We didn't know they exist, like websites that can help using AI to figure out how well of a match you are to a certain job. They can help you create your resume that's targeted to specific jobs. So hearing that feedback has been really encouraging, and we just want people to know that we want to support them and in their journey, whether that's looking for a new job or looking to pivot or just taking that next step.
Absolutely. And I think for me, what's really helpful, and it's the framing that I use for understanding the importance of this work in a lot of different capacities, but a job means a lot to people.
Yeah.
It means so much. I mean, it's not necessarily as like, it's not comparable, I would say, to like healthcare in some ways, but like a job can be like life and death in some ways if you really place your value in it. Yeah. And I find that more and more, at least I think I'm a part of a I don't know. I feel like more and more people are placing a lot of their value into the career that they choose. And so if you're getting negative feedback, if you're getting rejection, you almost are like, it's about me.
Right.
It's not about,
it's not,
and it's not about
it's not.
you. It's like, it's especially you personally and the gifts that you have to provide. And so that's really what I feel like the importance of a navigator or like just someone in your corner to support you through this process. That's what the role of, that's what I feel like is the true value that you provide to a candidate is that affirmation and maybe even that reframing that it's not you, it's them. It's like it can be the company. Like they're really up against so many challenges in the job seeking process. And so to have someone help you reframe some of those things is really, I think, an invaluable resource that you all are providing. So just kudos.
Yeah, no, great. Cesia does an amazing job facilitating all of our.
It's a team effort for sure.
She's the face, and when she's going through the webinars or the in-person workshops, events, she does touch on that, and I think it's important. People need to hear that. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that we don't know that's going on behind the scenes within the companies that the job posted a week ago, and there's already hundreds of applicants on LinkedIn, and you can see that, or they're through the interview process, but the job is still posted. We don't know any of that, so it isn't you. You're doing all the right things, and you're great.
Exactly.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
And we'll
I almost
help you.
swore my don't give up slur, but I needed to represent. So that's one of the things that excites me about being in recruiting type roles.
Yeah.
Is that back to your point of it? The job you have is so important. Mm-hmm. It is. I have seen people's livelihoods, generations being impacted because of like their big break in a good job at a great company that offers benefits from day one. Exactly. Everybody should do that, by the way.
You're a company out there.
Yes. Consider. But also not just finding a job, because I've had jobs that have paid well, but I was incredibly miserable in them. Like I knew what my strengths were, and I didn't get a chance to demonstrate them in those roles. Not because the company or the environment was bad. I was not the best fit for that type of position. If you put me in a job where it's just me and the computer, I need people interaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I need to influence a process or people. And back to another plug, in case you didn't catch the first one, our Strengths Finder event is coming up, and that'll be virtual, so it'll be super easy to attend. Mm-hmm. We're revisiting we take so much ownership in what we put out in these sessions that we'll revisit one that we thought was perfect then. We know that we can tweak it and make it even better again. So we're doing that. It's going to be a great event in knowing where your strengths lie, what type of environment you should be in to, back to your mention, to find true career joy. And when you do that, you can tell when people have found a job that they really enjoy.
Absolutely.
There's so much less stress to deal with, and it just helps you enjoy life even more. So to be able to be the link for our program to be the link to help people navigate towards that. It may not happen tomorrow, but you're taking steps towards that. I wish that for everybody, because I know how fun it is to get to do a job that you really enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this leads me to, I really want to know from you all, what is the future of Elevate Your Career? It sounds like the train's not stopping, which is great. But what's next for this series, and how you all will continue to make this impact?
We're kind of in our planning process right now, which is really exciting and fun. I think people can expect similar offerings that we've been putting on this year: the resume help, the LinkedIn, the Strengths Finder, but enhancing that in different ways and hopefully reaching more people in new ways, whether, again, online, in person is going to continue. Potentially mentorship opportunities, and really building on that concept of social capital, because we know people find jobs, yes, through LinkedIn, yes, through job boards, but it's that word of mouth, it's those connections that can really make a huge difference in your career journey. And so I think that's going to be a really big part of what we're looking at doing next year. It's really exciting to see kind of that not necessarily shift, because we've been trying to do that, but maybe amplification. Absolutely. Of that concept.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add anything else.
In the meantime, I'm trying to remember who said this. It might have been someone in the ecosystem a couple years ago, but I like the term democratizing access to capital, and democratizing the access to social capital is like really something you all are thinking about with, that's really the ethos behind Elevate Your Career. In many ways, which is awesome, and I think you're spot on, especially with the concept of finding a job. It is personal connection sometimes, and I think the sometimes misconception is that's the only way you can get a job. So how do we make it so that you might have access to the same social capital in some ways that I do, because we both showed up to this event together, and we were all there. So.
Yeah, the connections that could happen are incredible. And it doesn't have to be somebody that you speak with every day. It can be what we call like loose connections, or just acquaintances that you remember. And that's happened to me before, where I'm like, oh, and LinkedIn helps you find people too. Wait, I think one of my ex-coworkers now works at that company. Let me reach out to them. And it's such a much easier introduction and connection, because you already have that background. So allowing people to have access to that and keep building on that is key. Because yes, we do all apply like normal. It's required now. It's law required. You apply, you submit your application. But the thing is, when somebody from the inside knows you and can vouch for you, that's how I found my first American job. Is somebody from the inside said to this manager, look, she has no American work history, but I've spoken to her. She speaks English. She just came back from being in college in El Salvador, and now she's looking for full-time work. And otherwise, my resume would have not, there was nothing then that could have attracted that hiring manager. But because he spoke up and went directly to the manager, it just gave me the opportunity.
That's amazing.
To have a really good first job. Yes.
Yeah, and I think the spirit of that I want to leave folks with really is like the reciprocation of that too. Like once you do it,
paying it
forward, exactly. Once it happens to you, I think it will come so naturally to you to see the opportunities in which you can do that for other people, especially when it comes to career seeking and all in this realm. So just a challenge out there for people to notice that.
Yeah, be available. And a lot of times we get feedback of, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the help. And we look back and it's like, we just sent a couple of emails.
You helped yourself almost.
We just did an introduction. It wasn't that big of a deal. But to that person, yes, it was finally access to that door that they couldn't even see.
Absolutely. So my last question to you all is really kind of about, from your perspectives as recruiters and talent advocates for folks, I'd love for you to, share what should job seekers be the most proactive about in their job search, just from a high level.
Most proactive about. This sounds like I need to answer with one answer, but I'm going to give you a 3-part answer.
I love it.
Most proactive. You have to start with yourself. Know the skills that you bring. Do a really strong inventory of what you have to offer. There's free platforms online that you can do that and build a all-encompassing resume and then pick and choose what matches to the job that you're applying to. So know yourself so that you know not only what you would be good at, where you want to go next. If you're doing the same thing, that makes it easier. But if you're pivoting, which at some point we all need to pivot, then you really have to do an inventory and see. You have to be proactive at part 2, research. Yeah. Research the job by really reading the job description. I can't tell you how many candidates I've seen apply to jobs that did not read the requirements. And it's like, this job requires 5 years. I see on your resume they have 2. But if that recruiter doesn't have time to go back and research and see if they missed it, it'll just be rejected by the recruiter. Do your research on the job. Do your research on the company. There's been companies that have dream jobs of mine that I will never apply to because the values don't align. Yeah. And so I don't see myself at that company, therefore I won't apply. Do your research. And in doing your research, you never know, you might find a connection. So be very proactive about staying engaged with your network to see what opportunity there is to connect with somebody that's on the inside again, or that knows somebody that could give you a referral. Because referrals, even in this day and age of technology, AI cannot give you a referral as good as a person walking into an office and saying, hey, have you guys seen
met Victoria?
Victoria is like, I can't wait to work with Victoria again because I've worked with her before and she's amazing. Right? It's just worth it.
It carries so much more.
So much more. So
love that phrase that AI can't give you a referral.
No.
Exactly.
I do love AI and I do use a lot of it. If you're listening, AI.
It is listening.
I do love it. I'm polite to my Alexa. Thank you, Alexa.
You're definitely not the only one. I know so many people that do that. That's hilarious.
I've watched the 100.
Yes.
But the last thing is take care of yourself. Yeah. You really it's so. And we know because we've been there. I've been laid off and off work for 3 months thinking it was going to be the worst 3 months of my life. And it happened to be in summer, and it was the best summer our family's ever had. Yeah. We were a little tight budget-wise, but time-wise, it was so incredible. So do take the time to do the things that otherwise you weren't able to do without fully disconnecting from being at work. Take the time to take care of yourself. And don't do it alone. Yeah. So 3 parts: do your research, prepare yourself. I can't remember the other 2. Take care
they can
of
go back and listen.
Back up.
They were great.
You need to back up.
I think you nailed it. And thank you so much, both of you, for being here. I'd love for you to kind of plug a little bit about how can people get in touch. Where do we learn more about Elevate Your Career, or find the links to get in touch?
Yeah, so the best way, I would start with signing up for our talent network. If you go to our website, talent.intulsa.com, you can get signed up for our talent network, which will allow you to have access to our job board. It will get you signed up for our newsletter, which really contains a lot of really valuable information. We have a great marketing team that has blog posts and articles that can help you in your job search. There is also a link to our events page where you'll see all of our upcoming events, including, I have to plug our marketing event next week. It's happening next Tuesday from 9 in the morning till 10:30. We'll have some snacks and some beverages, and you'll be able to hear from local experts in the marketing field, help you really figure out what are your next steps, how to really build your brand, and hopefully find the opportunities that await you. So check out our website. That's really going to be the best place to get connected with us and learn more about our events and find those resources to help you in your job search.
Amazing.
I would also say follow us on LinkedIn because our marketing team does do a great job there too. And if you can't wait for the next event that we have, which is in a few weeks, and you need this today, on our website as well, there's a whole list of resources for job seekers that will help you get started. So again, it's talent.intulsa.com so that you can find and just go to, is it for job seekers?
Yeah.
Is the link.
Yes.
For job seekers.
Like I plug it at the end of every one of these episodes.
Okay.
So they will
They know.
they will get it, which I love. You will get it. you will find these resources, and I hope you seek them out because obviously we've got some great stuff coming in the future, and led by these two lovely ladies and their team. So thank you both so much for being on this episode of Grow With Us. I think this was a real hit in terms of like resources, advice, personal experience, like everything that we love to share on this podcast. So thank you both so much.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you. Thank you for having us and for being patient with us. Newbies.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of Grow With Us. Grow With Us is supported by inTulsa Initiatives. If you're interested in learning more about inTulsa services for job placement and workforce development, please visit talent.intulsa.com. From there, you can join our talent network where you'll get access to our newsletter, and our talent team will make sure we put the right opportunities on your radar. We put the choice to pursue a new career and opportunities in your hands. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to be notified when more episodes of Grow With Us are released. Let us know what you think about how we're doing by rating and reviewing. It really helps. Grow With Us is edited and engineered by Rant9 Productions and Jesse Ulrich. This has been Grow With Us.